Hello everyone, welcome back to Anime Octopus, where we dive deep into the what-ifs and alternate possibilities of your favorite anime universes. Today, we're exploring an intriguing question: what if Naruko was the strongest upper moon? Part 2. Imagine a world where her power surpasses everything we've seen so far. How would the battles change? How would the story shift? What strategies would other characters have to employ to survive? In this video, we're going to analyze all of that and more, breaking down not just the raw power, but also the implications for the narrative, character dynamics, and the entire hierarchy of the upper moons. Disclaimer: everything on this channel is purely for entertainment and discussion purposes. I do not own any of the anime footage used in these videos. Full rights and credits go to the original creators and copyright holders. So get ready to rethink the world of demons, shinobi, and all the what-ifs that make anime such a fascinating playground for imagination. Let's jump right in. Naruko in the Path of Understanding. Naruko adjusted her jacket and walked calmly to the door of her home. She had sensed a visitor approaching, someone skilled and quiet. When she opened the door, she saw a masked shinobi standing respectfully outside. The mask had a small symbol carved into it, Ni. "So," Naruko said with a gentle smile, "you must be part of Root. I'm guessing Danzo-sama sent you?" The visitor nodded politely. "Yes. My name is Torune. I was asked to escort you to speak with him." Naruko thought for a moment, then nodded. "All right. Let's go." With a soft shimmer of movement, they arrived at Danzo's residence. The room was quiet and simple, filled with shelves of scrolls and warm lantern light. "Welcome, Naruko-san," Danzo said, his voice calm. "Thank you for coming." Naruko bowed politely. "Of course. You wanted to talk?" Danzo nodded. "I believe you have great potential. I hoped we could discuss how you might help protect the village in your own way." Naruko listened carefully. Instead of responding with suspicion, she chose honesty. "I care deeply about this village and the people in it. I believe the best way to protect it is through trust, teamwork, and understanding, not secrets or fear." Danzo studied her for a long moment. Then, slowly, he smiled. "You are wiser than many twice your age." Naruko smiled back. "We may not agree on everything, but I think we both want what's best for everyone." They agreed to respect each other's paths and parted peacefully. A quiet moment at home. Later that evening, Naruko returned home, feeling thoughtful but calm. As she stepped inside, she sensed a familiar, comforting presence: Tomomi, a gentle friend who had watched over her for many years. "You handled yourself well today," Tomomi said warmly. Naruko laughed softly. "Thanks. I'm still learning, but I want to grow into someone who helps others." Tomomi's voice was full of pride. "And you are?" Training grounds, a lesson, not a fight. The next day, Naruko met Kushina at the training grounds. Instead of anger, there was tension mixed with concern. "I was worried about my family," Kushina admitted. Naruko bowed respectfully. "I understand. I would never want to hurt anyone you care about. I want children to grow up smiling, with their families safe." Kushina studied her face and finally relaxed. "Then, maybe we should work together instead." Naruko grinned. "I'd like that." They spent the afternoon practicing movements, sharing techniques, and laughing when things didn't go quite right. A promise of protection. That evening, Mikoto visited Naruko's home. They sat together with warm tea between them. "I came to ask you something important," Mikoto said gently. Naruko nodded. "I'm listening." "There are children who may need protection," Mikoto continued. "Will you help keep them safe?" Naruko's answer was immediate. "Always. Every child deserves a chance to grow up happy and secure." Mikoto smiled, relieved. "Thank you, Naruko." Closing note. Naruko's journey wasn't about power or fear, it was about growth, kindness, and choosing the right path, even when it was difficult. Step by step, she showed that true strength comes from protecting others with compassion. A gentle turning point in the village. Naruko sat quietly by the window as the afternoon light warmed the room. She let out a thoughtful sigh. "Have you noticed how much your son has changed?" Naruko asked gently. The Uchiha matriarch folded her hands and nodded. "Yes. The expectations placed on him have shaped his choices. I tried my best to guide him with kindness, but the voices of authority were very strong." Naruko looked down, her expression sincere. "At the academy, I realized he somehow learned about my friendship with Ayane. He only trained with me through her, and I worried that might put her in a difficult position. Since she's on the same team as him, I hoped you could quietly watch over her. That's all I ask. The woman blinked in surprise. That's all? Naruko smiled warmly. Yes. Protecting friends matters more than anything. The matriarch relaxed and smiled back. You have a good heart, Naruko. Thank you for trusting me. They shared tea in calm silence before the matriarch stood. If you ever need guidance, my door is open. Later that evening, Naruko rested, preparing for the next day with a peaceful mind. Training day at the forest grounds. The next morning, Naruko trained with her mentor in the quiet forest clearing. They practiced balance, awareness, and creative movement rather than strength. When one of Naruko's practice clones disappeared, she laughed softly as she learned from the experience. You adapt quickly, her mentor said proudly. Naruko grinned. Learning is easier when it's fun. The training bell chimed, signaling the end of practice. Time to head back, Naruko said cheerfully. A meeting of responsibility. Later, Naruko was invited to the council room. The atmosphere was serious but calm. Naruko stood straight. You asked to see me? The elders spoke carefully, asking about her new techniques and her conduct. Naruko answered honestly. I learned to protect, not to cause harm. Every skill I practice is meant to help the village. The room grew quiet. Even the strictest voices softened. After a moment, the Hokage nodded. Your transparency shows maturity. We will continue to guide you, not punish you. Naruko bowed respectfully. Thank you. I want to grow into someone the village can trust. A new understanding. As Naruko left the building, she felt lighter. Growth wasn't about power, it was about choices, kindness, and learning when to stand firm without hurting others. The village felt brighter that day. And Naruko walked forward with confidence, knowing her path was her own. Good, Naruko said with a confident smile. By the way, I'll be watching you to make sure that you follow through. I'll see you at Training Ground Area 14 after team meetings. Don't let me down, Lady Namikaze. For over 2 months, Naruko had been completing D-rank missions on her own. Sometimes, she wasn't allowed to do much because the clients were strict or cautious, but instead of getting discouraged, she used every opportunity to learn new skills. Over that time, she mastered Magen, Narakumi, Doten, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, Kanashibari, Kage Kunai, Kage Shuriken, and Kasumi Yusha. Finally, the Hokage decided it was time for Naruko to take on bigger challenges and assigned her C-rank missions alongside Anko, who was assigned to assist because she had refused to do them on her own. Some members of Team 7 grumbled about the fairness, but Anko calmly explained, the reason Naruko has been trusted with these missions is because she has the experience and focus to handle them safely. Everyone else still has room to grow, so listen carefully and learn. This time, Naruko not only completed her missions successfully but also got paid for her efforts, gaining confidence and field experience. Hokage's office, Team 7 minus Naruko and Anko. Team 7 returned with Tora, a mischievous village cat, for the 14th time. Everyone except Kakashi was messy, their clothes a little wrinkled and worn from trying to manage the stubborn cat. Oh, Tora. I'm so happy to see you. Lady Shijimi said, hugging the cat tightly. No wonder you ran away. Just then, a knock came on the door, and in came Naruko and Anko with dramatic flair. C-rank escort mission accomplished, Hokage-sama. Anko announced proudly. Must you always make such a grand entrance? The Hokage asked, exasperated but secretly amused. It's for dramatic effect, Naruko replied with a small grin. Sasuke, who had been complaining about D-rank missions, finally spoke up. I want a C-rank mission too. Anko chuckled and handed over the payment she had earned. I told you she would set an example first. Iruka explained patiently, Sasuke, you need more experience before handling C-rank missions safely. Naruko has been quietly gaining skills and completing missions properly. Naruko added with a polite smile, I have done many missions, but sometimes I wasn't allowed to fully participate. That gave me the chance to focus on learning new jutsu safely. Now I'm ready for bigger challenges alongside experienced teammates like Anko. Sarutobi nodded thoughtfully. Very well. Naruko and Anko will accompany you on C-rank missions to ensure everyone learns safely and gains experience. At the mission gate. The team met their client, Tazuna, a skilled bridge builder with a kind but serious demeanor. I need protection while I work, he said. Naruko smiled quietly. We'll keep you safe, Tazuna-san. Don't worry about a thing. As they traveled, Kakashi explained, the wave country doesn't have ninja villages, so the main danger comes from bandits or wild animals. The 5 great shinobi countries, including Konoha, Kiri, Kumo, Suna, and Iwa, are the ones with large ninja forces. Naruko grinned as they passed a puddle, noticing a harmless but tricky band of local tricksters trying to startle them. Looks like some practice for our reflexes, she said. With careful coordination, she and her teammates worked together to guide the tricksters safely away without causing harm, showing teamwork and quick thinking. Well, that went well, Naruko said, brushing herself off. You know, she added with a wink, sometimes being careful and clever is just as important as being fast. Naruko narrowed her eyes, sensing that the old man's story didn't quite add up. The other ninja were watching closely, too. Kazuna-san. Can you explain why you weren't completely honest with us? She asked gently but firmly. Kazuna sighed. All I could afford was a C-rank mission. The wave country is controlled by a leader named Gato. He looks respectable, but he treats the people unfairly and controls all the shipping routes. I'm building a bridge to help my people, but that makes me a target. Kakashi nodded thoughtfully. With that in mind, this mission is more serious than we thought. We'll help you, Tazuna. Everyone nodded, continuing toward the island, but Naruko and Anko lingered behind, deep in thought. Naruko's mind was already racing, figuring out how to protect everyone while making sure the mission succeeded. As the group approached the island by boat, a sudden rustle in the bushes caught Sasuke's attention. He threw a shuriken, and Naruko rolled her eyes, crouching to reveal a small white rabbit hopping out. Ha, someone's here, she said, handing the rabbit to Tokiko. Suddenly, a figure appeared from the shadows, a ninja dressed in blue pants and bandages, with a weathered headband that had been scratched out. You're the first person I've ever seen do that, the stranger said. Usually everyone ducks immediately. What's your name, kid? Name's Rutaxan, also known as the 13th ninja, Naruko replied confidently. And you must be Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist. I take it you're up to no good again? Zabuza's eyes narrowed. Yes, but the old man won't be harmed. Not yet. Kakashi stepped forward. Not on my watch. The two circled each other carefully, tension thick in the air. Naruko gripped her weapon, feeling her heart race, but also feeling ready. She had trained for moments like this, moments where courage and clever thinking mattered more than brute strength. Using quick reflexes and careful timing, Naruko dodged Zabuza's initial moves. This is fun, she whispered to herself, a grin spreading across her face. She tossed a small training clone to distract him, then used the opening to advance. Not bad, Zabuza admitted, impressed by her speed and strategy. You've learned a lot. Naruko swung her skysplitter sword, a bright green glow shimmering along the blade. With careful precision, she made a path forward, pushing Zabuza to move, and forcing him to rethink his approach. You're fast and clever, but don't get overconfident, Zabuza warned. I won't, Naruko said with a determined smile. But I also won't back down just because you're scary looking. I'm here to protect my friends and help Tazuna-san. With one final clever trick, she forced Zabuza to retreat into the mist. We'll meet again, he called, disappearing. Naruko landed lightly on the water's surface near the shore, breathing deeply but smiling. Kakashi approached, shaking his head. That was impressive, Naruko. You're welcome, she said, brushing off her clothes. We've still got a bridge to build, and I don't plan to let anything stop us. Kazuna, watching her, said warmly, Kid, that was amazing. I take back everything I said before, thank you. Naruko smiled brightly. It's nothing. We'll make sure everyone gets across safely. And with that, the team continued on their mission, ready to face the challenges ahead, but now with a newfound respect for Naruko's bravery, cleverness, and heart. Sakura huffed, trying to impress the others, PFFT, I bet Sasuke-kun and Kakashi-sensei could have beaten him easily. Naruko crossed her arms, her face calm but serious. And yet Kakashi tried hiding in the water against a water ninja. And Uchiha? Well, I don't know all his skills, but he wouldn't last long. That fight pushed me to my limit, using that sword was completely new to me. But hey, at least I get another chance to train against him. Tokiko whispered to herself, eyes wide, just how strong is she? Dash. At Tazuna's house, a cheerful voice called out, Tsunami-chan, I'm home. Welcome back, To-san. And I see you brought guests, said a dark-haired woman in the doorway. These are the people who have protected me on my journey, Tsunami replied politely. The pleasure is all ours, Kakashi said, bowing slightly. I'm Kakashi Hatake, and this is my Jinan team, Tokiko Namikaze, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno. Anko stepped forward with a grin. I'm Anko Mitarashi, and this is my apprentice, Rutaxan. Kakashi nodded. We'll protect Tazuna until his bridge is finished. A small voice piped up, and everyone turned. A young boy with a yellow shirt, green overalls, and a bucket hat stared confidently. Nobody can beat Gato. You're all doomed. Inari, Tazuna exclaimed, scooping him up into a hug. I'm going to watch the ocean, Inari said, already heading upstairs. Naruko smiled warmly. Charming kid you've got there, Tsunami-san. Tsunami's eyes softened with a tinge of sadness. He's been through a lot. Naruko's gaze fell on a torn photograph on the table. Who's this? She pointed gently. The corner is missing, but judging by your smiles, this man was very close to you. A father figure, perhaps? He must have been one of the few brave souls to oppose Gato. Tsunami's voice quivered as she spoke. He was a hero. His name was Keiza. Tazuna added softly, Inari met him first after almost drowning while saving his dog. From that day, he idolized Keiza. They spent every day fishing together. It brought our family happiness. But then Gato appeared, Tsunami continued. Keiza tried to protect the island, and he lost his life. Inari was devastated and believes no one can defeat Gato. Naruko placed a comforting hand on Tsunami's shoulder. Then what you're building here is a bridge of hope. A chance to continue Keiza-san's dream. Let's make that happen. Tazuna's eyes widened. You'll help us? Of course, Naruko said with a small smile. At first, I only had a mission to escort you safely, but I can't stand seeing people preyed upon by bullies. Gato's time is over. Everyone nodded, inspired by her words. Kakashi addressed his team. Get some rest tonight. We start training first thing in the morning, Zabuza will be back soon. The next day, Kakashi led Team 7 into the training area. Today, we climb trees. With your feet only. Sakura blinked. That's possible? Of course, Kakashi said, demonstrating. He focused chakra into his feet and slowly walked up a tree trunk. Use these kunai to mark your progress, and start with a running jump. Tokiko took a deep breath and tried first. She managed a bit higher than Sasuke. Sakura climbed halfway. Even Rutaxan, Naruko's clever clone, watched and took mental notes. Naruko stood back, grinning. If you learned water walking, I bet you can handle this exercise too. Focus on controlling your chakra, it saves energy for when you really need it. Later, Naruko demonstrated a sparring exercise with her clone. She moved swiftly, pretending to battle Zabuza. Strong attacks wear down your opponent, but clever moves win the fight. Sakura giggled when Naruko made a funny comment mid-training, while Tokiko's concentration allowed her to climb faster. Sasuke scowled at being outpaced but promised himself he'd improve. Meanwhile, Naruko helped Tazuna with bridge supplies. She summoned multiple clones to carry beams, chatting with the workers. When Jaichi, a worker, said he wanted to quit, Naruko approached gently but firmly. You mean you don't want to risk your life for the village? She asked calmly. Jaichi hesitated. I don't want to risk my family. Naruko smiled, eyes full of conviction. Then go be with them, but remember this, Tazuna-san is giving everything for his village. You can help, or let these children down. Which will it be? Jaichi's face softened, tears welling up. I'll help, he said quietly. Naruko nodded, satisfied. Good. We finish this bridge together, and we'll protect this village from anyone who tries to harm it. Tazuna chuckled. You have a way with words, Rutaxan. I mean, Naruko. Maybe you should be a politician. Naruko laughed. I guess it's a gift. Now, let's get back to work. You are over 50, which makes you old to me, Naruko said with a playful grin as she and Tazuna headed out, accidentally leaving Sakura asleep. 15 minutes later, Sakura woke up, realized what had happened, and quickly caught up with them. Time skip, 1 day later, evening. The sun dipped low as Tokiko and Sasuke finished their training. Nearby, Inari watched everyone closely, his arms crossed and his face tight with frustration. Finally, he could not hold it in anymore. Why do you all try so hard? Inari shouted. No matter how much effort you put in, it feels pointless. Big promises do not always change how things turn out. Naruko turned toward him, her expression calm but serious. You should be careful about assuming what others have been through, she said gently. Inari clenched his fists. You do not understand this place or me. You are always smiling and acting hopeful. You do not know how heavy things can feel. Anko quietly muttered, this is not going well. Naruko laughed softly at first, then stopped, her eyes steady. You think I have never felt lonely? She asked. When I was very young, I spent many days by myself. I did not have anyone to cheer me on. It was quiet, and sometimes it hurt. But I learned something important. Inari looked unsure. What did you learn? That pain does not mean the end, Naruko said. It means you can choose to grow. I did not give up, even when it was hard. And you do not have to give up either. The room fell silent. Tokiko spoke up softly. She is telling the truth. I remember seeing Naruko struggle when we were younger. She kept going anyway. Kazuna nodded slowly. Strength is not about overpowering others. It is about standing up again. Naruko smiled at Inari. You are allowed to feel upset. But you are also allowed to hope. Inari lowered his head. I never thought about it that way. Later that night, everyone went to bed, except Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura. Sasuke asked Sakura to leave so he could speak privately. There are ways to grow stronger without hurting others, Sasuke said quietly. I want to learn properly. Kakashi nodded. Then we will focus on learning, not grudges. The next morning, Tokiko came downstairs looking tired but determined. She greeted Tsunami politely. Good morning, Tsunami said warmly. Everyone else has already gone to the bridge. Naruko is still upstairs resting. She stayed up late talking with Inari. Talking about what? Tokiko asked. About friends, Tsunami replied. She does not have many, but she treasures them deeply. Tokiko smiled sadly. She has a very kind heart. Naruko soon came downstairs, wearing her hooded cloak. For once, Sensei made a smart call, she said lightly. I will stay here and keep watch. Thank you, Naruko, Tsunami said. At the bridge. Team 7 arrived to find Zabuza and a masked figure waiting. Where is the young one? Zabuza asked. Kakashi stepped forward calmly. She chose to protect others today. Zabuza laughed. Very well. Let us see what you have learned. The wind swept across the bridge as both sides prepared, not for cruelty, but for a test of resolve, teamwork, and wisdom. And far away, Naruko watched over the house, believing firmly that courage, kindness, and understanding were the strongest tools of all. A gentle reimagining, the mist trial at the bridge. A soft mist rolled across the bridge as Zabuza calmly announced, Kirigakure no Jutsu. The fog shimmered like a curtain of clouds, making it difficult to see. Team 7 stood close together, and Anko watched carefully beside Tazuna. Everyone stay with Tazuna, Kakashi said steadily. Sasuke and I will check the mist. Naruko adjusted her headband and smiled with confidence. I'll stay alert right here, she said. She believed every challenge could be solved with clever thinking and teamwork. Through the fog, Kakashi noticed faint shapes made of chakra, like reflections on water. Meanwhile, Sasuke focused, remembering his training and breathing evenly. Nearby, Anko sat beside Tazuna and quietly shared a small snack, keeping him calm. No need to worry, she said. We've got this. Sasuke and Haku, a test of skill. From the mist appeared Haku, moving gracefully like falling snow. She and Sasuke exchanged respectful glances before beginning a fast-paced training-style duel. Their movements were careful and controlled, meant to test awareness rather than cause harm. Haku used water chakra to form harmless floating shapes, challenging Sasuke to react quickly. Sasuke responded with focus and determination, learning from each move. You're improving, Haku said kindly. Stay aware of your surroundings. Naruko's quiet plan. Earlier that week, Naruko had quietly discovered that a merchant named Gato planned to cause trouble for everyone involved. Instead of reacting with anger, she chose a better path. Naruko met privately with Zabuza and Haku to suggest a peaceful solution. We can protect the people of Wave, she said, and stop Gato's plans without anyone getting hurt. Her honesty surprised them. After thoughtful discussion, they agreed to work together behind the scenes to guide Gato away from causing harm and help the town grow safely. Naruko promised herself one thing. No one gets hurt. Ever. Ice mirrors of reflection. Back at the bridge, Haku formed shining mirrors of ice that reflected light like glass. Sasuke paused, studying them carefully instead of rushing forward. These mirrors aren't traps, he realized. They're lessons. Naruko stepped forward, clapping once. Time out, she said cheerfully. Let's reset before anyone gets dizzy. Sakura rushed to Sasuke's side, relieved. You okay? Sasuke nodded. Yeah. I learned something. Trouble at the house. Suddenly, Naruko sensed nervous energy from the village. She excused herself and quickly returned to Tazuna's house, where two loud visitors were causing trouble. Naruko didn't fight. Instead, she used clever distractions and calm words, leading them away and alerting the townspeople. Tsunami and Inari were safe, and Naruko praised Inari for being brave. You did great, she told him. Standing up for others matters. Back to the bridge. Naruko returned just in time to see the mist fade. Kakashi lowered his guard, Zabuza relaxed his stance, and everyone understood that the real test had been judgment, not strength. This mission taught us something important, Kakashi said. Naruko smiled brightly. Problems can be solved without anyone getting hurt. Haku nodded. I'll remember that. Naruko's clever mission in the land of waves. Haku whispered nervously, I don't know if I can do this. Naruko, crouched behind a large boulder, nodded confidently. It's okay. Just stay calm and follow my plan exactly. We'll do this together. With a quick flick of her wrist, she signaled to her shadow clone. Switch positions now. The clone shimmered, and in an instant, Naruko was in place, ready to outsmart the bandits without anyone getting hurt. From the other side of the bridge, she saw Kakashi quietly guide Zabuza away, their movements careful and precise. Naruko smiled to herself. Her plan was working. She carefully tossed a kunai, not to hurt anyone, but to trigger a harmless trap that would tie the bandits' hands. Perfect, she whispered. Everyone's safe, and we're keeping them from causing trouble. Just then, Gato appeared at the edge of the bridge with a group of mercenaries. You won't get away this time, he declared. Naruko adjusted her scarf and held her staff firmly. Gato, there's no need for anyone to get hurt. Let's make a deal. If you agree to leave the villagers alone and stop causing trouble, I'll help you safely return to town. Gato hesitated, and Naruko used the moment wisely. With careful, quick thinking, she created a smoke screen with her wind techniques. When it cleared, Gato's weapons were safely tied and all the villagers were out of danger. See? Naruko said with a confident smile. No one got hurt, and everything is under control. Haku blinked in amazement. Naruko, you actually made it work. I told you, Naruko said, brushing dust from her clothes. Being clever is better than fighting. A new friendship. Later, as the villagers celebrated the completion of the bridge, Naruko handed a small wooden practice sword to Inari. Here, practice with this. One day, you might become a great ninja too. Tsunami approached shyly. Naruko, thank you for everything. You're really brave. She gave Naruko a gentle hug, and Naruko laughed. It's all in a day's work. Just promise me you'll keep smiling. Naruko's team, Tokiko, Sasuke, and Sakura, watched her with respect. Everyone had learned something that day: courage, clever thinking, and teamwork can solve even the trickiest problems without anyone getting hurt. And so, Naruko continued her journey, helping those in need, building trust, and proving that being a ninja isn't just about strength, it's about kindness, intelligence, and bravery. Naruko walked across the village square and noticed a boy from Sunagakure dressed in a black, cat-like jumpsuit. He was holding a large bundle on his back while his teammate, a blonde kunoichi with 4 pigtails and a giant fan strapped to her back, watched nervously as a young boy dangled awkwardly from the Suna boy's grip. Sakura and Tokiko were nearby, trying to convince the puppet master to gently put the boy down. Naruko stepped forward and said firmly, "Could you please let him go?" The Suna boy frowned. "He bumped into me. Now I have to teach him a lesson." Naruko took a deep breath and smiled kindly but confidently. "Well, just think. That boy is the Hokage's grandson. If you hurt him, it could cause a lot of trouble for everyone. How about we try solving this peacefully?" The boy hesitated, then carefully set the younger boy down. Naruko turned to him with a gentle smile. "Now, a small apology goes a long way." Kankuro looked confused. "Apologize?" "Yes," Naruko said. "It shows respect. Go on." Kankuro muttered, "Sorry." The younger boy, Konohamaru, puffed up his cheeks in mock defiance. Ha! Naruko playfully tapped him on the head. Now you apologize. Respect works both ways, you know. Konohamaru's face turned red. I'm sorry for bumping into you. Naruko nodded, satisfied. Perfect. Now that everyone is safe and happy, who do I have the pleasure of meeting? Tamari stepped forward. I'm Tamari, and you already met Kankuro. Naruko smiled at her. What a lovely name for a lovely person. And your other teammate? Tamari and Kankuro stiffened slightly as a red-haired, green-eyed boy with a large gourd and a serious expression appeared from a nearby tree. I'm Gaara, he said in a calm voice. And I look forward to seeing you at the exams. Naruko waved cheerfully. Looking forward to it too. Let's all do our best. Dash. The next day, Naruko met with Anko, who reminded her about forming a team for the Chunin exams. Naruko thought carefully. She wanted teammates she could rely on. Walking through the courtyard, she overheard a young girl's frustrated voice. It was Emi, trying to convince her teammates to join the exams. She now wore a neat black cheongsam, her hair slightly longer than before. Naruko approached politely. Excuse me. I heard you need some help? Emi looked surprised but hopeful. Rutaxin. I mean, Naruko. Yes, I want to join, but my teammates are too scared. Naruko smiled warmly. That's okay. I'm forming a team too. Would you like to join us? I promise we'll work together and look out for each other. Amy's eyes lit up. Yes. I'd love to. Naruko bowed respectfully to Amy's teacher, Ko Hyuga. May I borrow your student for the exams? I'll make sure she's safe and supported. Ko thought for a moment and then nodded. Very well. I trust you won't let her down. Dash. The day of the exams arrived. Naruko and her team, now named Team Outcast, arrived early. Naruko asked, let's talk strengths and weaknesses. Ayane replied, I'm good with ninjutsu and strategy, but I need help in close-range fighting. Ami said, I'm strong in taijutsu, but I'm not as good with genjutsu. Naruko laughed. Perfect. I cover taijutsu and am good with kenjutsu. And I seem to be naturally resistant to genjutsu. Together, we're a strong team. As they entered the exam hall, other teams glared at them, trying to look intimidating. Naruko simply smiled. She directed a calm, confident aura toward them, which made everyone pause except Gaara, who simply nodded in acknowledgement. Let's do our best, Naruko whispered to her team. Remember, teamwork and respect always come first. Dash. Later, Naruko's team met other competitors, including Sasuke and his friends. While some tried to act tough, Naruko remained polite but firm, showing that courage, clever thinking, and kindness were the best ways to face challenges. When a new ninja, Kabuto, appeared with helpful information about the exams, Naruko listened carefully, reminding her team that knowledge and preparation were just as important as strength. Remember, she told Ayane and Emi, the exams aren't about winning or losing. They're about learning, improving, and supporting each other. We can do this together. Her team nodded enthusiastically, ready for the adventure ahead. Kabuto nodded, and the Uchiha said, Sabaku no Gaara, Rock Lee, Rutaxin, and Ayane Uchiha. The silver-haired Janan drew 4 cards and began, Rock Lee, 20D rank and 12C rank. Her taijutsu is very strong, but other skills are still developing. Her teammates are Neji Hyuga and Tenten. She flipped the next card, Sabaku no Gaara, 8C rank and 1B rank. Her abilities are largely a mystery, and it is said she has never failed any mission she's attempted. The third card read, Ayane Uchiha, 24D rank and 8C rank. She is well-rounded in kenjutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu. Her sensei is Gekko Hayate, and she works solo. The final card showed, Rutaxin, 4D rank, 32C rank, 1B rank, 1A rank. Known as the 13th ninja, Rutaxin is remarkably clever, solving difficult challenges single-handedly without harm. While very capable overall, her genjutsu is almost non-existent. Kusagakur lists her as a C-rank ninja in the bingo book. Everyone's eyes widened at Naruko's detailed report. Kiba whistled, wow, how come you only have 4D ranks? Naruko grinned, I never collected rewards for them, so I used that opportunity to pick up some new techniques at that level. Kabuto continued, Konoha, Kiri, Suna, Kuza, Ado, and Ame are all participating in the exams. Each village has skilled ninja, like Rutaxin here. Suddenly, the door swung open. A tall man in a black trench coat and a Konoha bandana entered, flanked by a large group of Chunin operatives. "I am Iviki Morino," he said, "and from now on, you will follow my instructions. First, everyone will draw lots to see where you are seated. No exceptions. You will all be separated." True to his word, the Genin were seated apart. Naruko found herself next to Hinata and a ninja from Suna. "Do not turn over your tests until I say," Iviki continued. "Rules are simple. Each of you starts with 10 points. The test has 10 questions. Miss one, lose a point. It's also a team test, you can earn up to 30 points together." Sakura frowned. "Why is it a team test? I don't understand." Iviki raised an eyebrow but calmly explained, "The third rule, anyone caught cheating loses 2 points. And the fourth, most important rule, if a teammate loses all points, the whole team fails." The room grew tense. Naruko glanced at Hinata and Neji, each with focused expressions. Gaara quietly observed using her special skills, while Tenten cleverly used her tools to share answers with Lee. Kankuro and Tamari communicated silently, and Ino and Sakura worked together. Over the hour, 13 teams lost points for mistakes, but they learned quickly. Finally, Iviki said, "Now for the 10th question, you have a choice. You can attempt it or skip it. If you skip, your team fails. If you attempt it and get it wrong, you cannot take this exam again." A hush fell. Some Genin hesitated. Naruko grinned, nudging Hinata, "This is just another puzzle. Let's go for it." One by one, those who didn't want to risk it left. The rest stayed, radiating confidence. Iviki smirked. "Interesting, you all show spirit and courage. Very well, you pass." The 10th question was about making that choice. All the other questions tested how you work together. You succeeded. Sakura blinked. "So all our hard work was really about teamwork?" Iviki nodded, "Exactly. Sometimes, knowing how to collaborate is more valuable than knowing the answer. Information is powerful, but only if shared wisely." Just then, movement caught Naruko's eye. A banner unfurled at the window to reveal Anko Mitarashi. She wore her signature long-sleeved coat and smiled mischievously. "I am Anko Mitarashi," she said, "and I'll be guiding you to Training Ground 44, the Forest of Trials. Here, you will complete challenges and work together. Your goal is to reach the central tower with 2 scrolls, Heaven and Earth. Only teams who collaborate and use their skills wisely will succeed." Sakura whispered, "So some teams are bound to fail." Anko nodded. "Yes, but this is not about fighting. It's about creativity, problem solving, and courage. You have 5 days. Use your wits, your tools, and your teamwork. Let's see what you're made of." Naruko smiled brightly. "All right. Time to show what we can do." Naruko and the Forest Trial. Naruko laughed softly. "Choji really does think about food first. It's kind of impressive." Anko clapped her hands to get everyone's attention. "All right, listen up. You'll be entering a forest filled with natural challenges. There's plenty to eat if you're careful, but you'll need to watch out for tricky plants, curious creatures, and your fellow teams. This trial is about endurance, teamwork, and good judgment." She smiled, though her eyes were sharp. As the days pass, the path becomes longer and rest becomes shorter. You can fail by losing your scroll, missing the time limit, or not working together. You'll have 5 days to reach the tower. And remember, you may not open your scroll until you arrive. Shikamaru raised a hand. "What happens if someone opens it early?" Anko grinned. "That would ruin the surprise. This test is also about trust. Now, trade in your forms, take your scrolls, and choose a gate." Naruko had already signed her papers, confidence shining in her eyes. Anko added one last note, gentler this time. "Take care of yourselves." Dash. Team Outcast enters the forest. At gate 78, Team Outcast stepped forward together. Naruko took a calm breath. She focused, and 2 strange but harmless training tools appeared in her hands, light-based practice devices she used to test precision and awareness. They were designed only for demonstrations and never caused harm. The team paused on a large tree branch. Ayane spoke first. "We'll stay together, but move quietly. I'll lead and keep watch. Ami, stay in the middle. Naruko, you watch the back." Ami hesitated. "Naruko?" Naruko smiled kindly. "That's my real name. I trust you with it." Ami nodded. "Thank you. I think I understand now why people misunderstand you. But I'm glad I get to know you for myself." Naruko's expression softened. "That means a lot." Dash. A meeting in the forest. Soon, another team appeared from the tall grass, 3 students from Kusagakure. A boy stepped forward politely. Are you Naruko? Yes, she answered calmly. Introductions were exchanged, and the mood stayed cautious but respectful. Shiwo, the team leader, held up a scroll. Looks like we have what each other needs. Naruko studied her teammates, then nodded. Let's settle this with a skills exchange. No one gets hurt. We learn, then move on. Everyone agreed. Friendly challenges. Ayane and Michiko demonstrated sword forms using wooden practice blades, each learning from the other's technique. Ami and Doppo tested footwork and balance, laughing when they both stumbled and had to reset. Naruko and Shiwo compared speed and awareness drills, racing to mark targets on tree trunks using chalk marks instead of tools. Afterward, Shiwo smiled. You're impressive. Strong, but thoughtful. Naruko returned the smile. You are too. They exchanged scrolls fairly. Reaching the tower. Hours later, Team Outcast reached the tower together. Inside, they found a message carved into a plaque, a reminder about unity and growth. Ami looked at the scrolls. I think it's time. They opened them carefully. Light filled the room, and a guide appeared, there only to congratulate them. Well done, the guide said warmly. You passed by working together and choosing respect. Naruko smiled at her teammates. We did it the right way. Ayane nodded. That's what makes it count. My dear YouTube family. This is all for now. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more. Your support means the world. Thank you for watching. Regards. Anime Octopus.